Hi guys, so I'm back with another tag video, and this is the rapid fire book tag. I'll link the original down below, but the first time that I watched it was on Peter Likes Books channel, who I will also link down below. And basically the idea of this tag is you're not supposed to think too much about your answers, you're just supposed to sort of give the first answer that comes into your head, so that this is supposed to be, the first thing that you think of, answer. So first is ebook or physical book. I'm always drawn to physical books. I love everything about a physical book, the sort of how tactile they are, turning the pages, the smell of books, that you can get an actual book signed if you meet the author, but ebooks have their place. A lot of books only come out on ebook, a lot of novellas only come out on ebook, and a lot of authors get started through self-publishing on ebook. So ebooks, I definitely read a lot of ebooks, but if we're talking about my love of books, then it's in the physical book. Paperback or hardback? I always used to say hardback. I just love that they're more durable. They sort of stand the test of time. They stand up to being read a lot better than a paperback. But I also do enjoy paperbacks as well for ease of carrying around with me on like sort of the commute to work and everything. It's easier if I'm reading a paperback that I can just bung in my bag than hardbacks, because they're a lot heavier to just carry around with you. But I would say hardback. The collector in me says hardback. Online or in-store book shopping. This is hard because there is nothing I like better than wandering around a bookstore. I love being in a bookstore. I like the whole ambience of a bookstore and being just surrounded by books. Like when I went into Foyles a couple of weeks ago, that was literally just like being in heaven. And I always find, like, no matter how much browsing I do online, I always find something that I haven't stumbled across before when I'm in an actual bookstore. But I do most of my book shopping online, but also in supermarkets. If I'm doing like a weekly shop or something, or I'm picking up a few essentials, I go down the book aisle and I'll pick up books in there as well. So for me it's kind of 50-50. I will pick up books in bookstores, but I also pick them up in supermarkets and also online. I'd say the bulk of my shopping is done online, but it's not exclusively online. Trilogies or series? This is hard because I don't have very many finished trilogies or series under my belt. I'd probably say a series. Trilogies, I'm kind of over trilogies in that for a long time all we got was trilogies. So I'd say series. Heroes or villains? I love a good villain, whether it's sort of books or movies. I love it when a villain is just so bad, you just love reading it. But I do always root for the hero, so it's kind of hard. Like, I can appreciate a good villain, but I always back the hero. A book you want everyone to read. Lately I've been palming off Me Before You on practically everybody. I even made my mum read it. Recommend an underrated book. Written in Red by Anne Bishop. Hands down. I don't see enough of the Others series on BookTube. It's fantastic. It's part of a series, but that's the first book and I highly recommend picking it up. The last book that you finished, that was The One Real Thing by Samantha Young. I was reading it on my Kindle. I got it through NetGalley, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. I really like Samantha Young. The last book that you bought, that was Harry Potter the Vault The Artifact Vault. I picked that up in Asda a couple of days ago. Weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark. I don't really use weird things as bookmarks because I have such an extensive bookmark collection. I mean, if I don't have one around me and I do need to keep a page, which is rare because I normally have a bookmark, like things like receipts. If I can't find anything, I'll quickly chuck my phone like in between the pages until I can find a bookmark or something like that. But I wouldn't say I've used anything weird. I'd say that I use the standard things. Used books, yes or no? This is an answer that has recently changed for me. I used to be completely staunch no. I used to like my books new. I used to like knowing that I was the first one to crack them open, the first one to read them, that I wouldn't stumble across any dog-eared pages, any highlighted things. I used to be really sort of anal about it. I really didn't like it. But I've done a bit of shopping sort of from sellers on Amazon when I can't find a book, or a lot of the time it's for like hardcover, US hardcovers that I can't find here, or like something that's out of print, and I always shop through the seller that it has to either be good or very good for me to purchase it. But I mean, the savings that you can do that way, I mean, it's insane. Like I bought Jane Austen autobiography that I saw in foils, and it was full price at £25, and then I shopped for it used online and I paid something like £8, and it was in a great condition. So I mean, you sort of take a chance by buying used books online, but it can really pay off. And I mean, I would go into used bookstores, but I haven't. There's never anything that really pulls me in. So yeah, I buy most of my used books online, but I still mostly buy new books. Top 3 favourite genres. I would say historical fiction or / historical romance, particularly the Regency period, but I also enjoy sort of the Tudor period. Fantasy, fantasy / urban fantasy, and then sort of young adult contemporary ish. Borrow or buy. I don't like to lend my books to people, so I don't like putting them in a position where I borrow books from them. Sort of a, if I'm not prepared to lend people my books, I'm not prepared to borrow them from people. So and my library, I used to go to the library a lot, but with working Monday to Friday 9 to 5, it's quite hard to actually get to the library when they're open. So I don't go to the library very much anymore, so it's pretty much buy all of my books. Characters or plot. I mean, I like both. I mean, I don't think I can honestly say that I enjoy a story if it's all of one and not the other. I mean, you can get good books like that, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I like to have both. I do like to have both in there, but if I had to choose, I would say characters, because I think the characters are what drives the plot. You can have an excellent plot, but if you can't relate to the characters or you don't like the characters, then it's all shot to shit, really, isn't it? Long or short books. I kind of like something in the middle. I find like a very short book, or like short stories or something like that, I find it's very hard to connect to, because before you know it's over, and it's very hard to get fully satisfied on a book that is so short. I mean, there's an art to writing short stories, don't get me wrong, but I've never stumbled across one that I can honestly say I've really enjoyed. And again, like if it's too long, I feel like unless it's completely amazing, then it can be quite drawn out and I can lose interest. So I do like something sort of in the middle, like 400 pages is kind of the optimum. But if I had to choose, I'd probably say long. Long or short chapters. This isn't something that really bothers me. I know a few people that really love short chapters because it makes them read faster. I can honestly say that for me, it doesn't make an awful amount of difference. Like if I look at a book and it's got a 50-page chapter, that won't really put me off reading it. But I know some people that it would. So yeah, that doesn't really bother me. Okay. name the first 3 books that you think of. I would say Written and Read, because we've already talked about it and it's one that I feel passionately about palming off on people. I would say Ever After. This is the book adaptation of the movie, and this is on my mind because I want to read it, because it only got delivered a couple of days ago, and Friday, yeah, and I'm dying to read it because it's my favourite movie. And I would say Wildflower by Drew Barrymore, because I've started to read that this morning as well. Books that make you laugh or cry. I like a book that can make you do either, because it shows that it's evoking some sort of emotion with you. You're obviously connecting to that book. I love a book that can make me laugh, because if it can make you laugh out loud, it's a sign of, you know, a fantastic writer to make you actually laugh. Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh is one that had me absolutely in stitches. I actually had tears rolling down my face with laughter with that book because it was so funny. But I enjoy a book that makes me cry, because sometimes you just need that. You need that release of crying. And Me Before You definitely did that. But over it, I'd rather read a book that makes me laugh, because I'd rather be happy than sad. Our world or fictional worlds. I can honestly say that I enjoy either or. Like, it depends what I'm in the mood for. Like, I can really love a fantasy world, but sometimes you're not in the mood for that and you want to read a contemporary. I tend to read more books set in our world, really, in the real world, than in the fantasy world. So based on sort of the ratio, I'd probably say our world. Audiobooks, yes or no? I can honestly say that I'm still undecided, because I haven't listened to enough of them. I listened to Fateful by Sherry Smith because she very kindly provided me with the audiobook, and I enjoyed it. And I've listened to John Green's reading The Fault in Our Stars, which I loved, absolutely loved that. I was in complete raptures over that, absolutely adored it. So there was one that I found, like, you know, nice, and one that I absolutely loved, but I just feel like I get distracted if someone's reading, because they can either be reading faster than I could or slower than I could. So my mind drifts. And so say if I was doing something else, like adult colouring or whatever I was doing, I would concentrate more on that and I would block it out. That's why I can't listen to music when I read, because I would block out what I would be reading to listen on the music. And, you know, if I was listening to an audiobook, I would be focusing on whatever else I would be doing. So if I was driving, I would love it. I could totally listen to it while I was driving, but I don't currently drive. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? I wouldn't say that I judge it whether it's going to be good or bad by its cover. Am I attracted to a book because of its cover? All of the time. I mean, that's what I love about physical books, is when you can physically pick it up and you can see it and you just know how beautiful it is. I think you lose that with an ebook. But I wouldn't say I would judge it from being good or bad by its cover. Can I judge it? Does it look like something that I would read? Yes. Do I think it's good? Is it pulling me in to read the synopsis? Yes. So I wouldn't say I judge it, but I like the book itself. But do I judge it to be something I'm interested in? Well, of course, that's what the cover is there for, I believe. Okay, book to movie or book to TV adaptations. I can honestly say I've enjoyed several of both. There's been some fantastic book to movie adaptations in the last few years, and equally there have been some bad ones. The Fault in Our Stars, absolutely fantastic book to movie adaptation. Was it 100% accurate? No, but was it as near as damn it? Yes. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And Outlander is an amazing book to TV adaptation. Is amazing. So I think it depends on the book to what it could be made into. A standalone young adult contemporary is not going to be made into a series. It's going to be made into a movie. And something as huge as Outlander can't physically be made into a movie. It has to be made into a TV adaptation. So I think it depends very much on the book itself, and I couldn't pick between them, because Outlander, one of my favourite books, had to be a TV adaptation. Fault in Our Stars, one of my favourite books, had to be a movie. So like, I think that as long as they pick the right thing, then it's cool with me. A movie or TV show you preferred to its book? The Martian. I much preferred the movie. Like, I read the book and I really enjoyed it. I appreciated the book. I thought it was good, but a lot of the sciencey chapters in it, I mean, obviously I thought it was fantastically researched and very factual, and that is a credit to the author for doing that, but sometimes it just made the book very dry, and you're just like, oh my god. Like, the main character that gets stuck on Mars is really very funny, Mark Watney. He's very, very funny, but then more of the science gets introduced and it almost dries him out. But in the movie, that comes across much better because you're not having to read it all. You're not having to really take it in. It's just explained much better in the movie. And Matt Damon was just fabulous as that character, and I preferred watching it to reading it. Series or standalones? This is difficult because, again, I like both. It's I read very few standalones these days, so I would probably have to say series, because most books that I've been reading are parts of series, or they are part of a series but each book is an individual standalone. That I really like, that you don't have to read all of the books maybe in the right order, or you know, each book is its each individual story, and like those characters have had their story and then you get another person's story. That I really enjoy. So that was the rapid fire book tag, guys. I would like to tag Ryan from Ryan Reads Books, Jen from Reading with Pugs, and Daniel from Book Disorders. So, oh, and Alana from Alana Reads. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Happy reading.